It's groundbreaking. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, and you're here for it. Friends, the most powerful topic in our industry today is artificial intelligence. Now, I understand some of you don't want it to be a popular topic. You don't like it. You don't use it. You're quote unquote not a tech person. Friends, believe it or not, more than half of your clients in a recent poll said that they wanted to use AI as much, if not more, than an agent to find their property, price their mortgage, and shop for their homeowner's insurance. Here's the deal. Your clients are already using AI, and the truth is they expect you to be there. Our audience and the commitment we've made is to have you be the most educated and forward-thinking audience in all of real estate. And in order to do that, we're going to talk about AI. Now, we've made the premise that AI for real estate agents largely is in two buckets. Bucket number one, it helps you get stuff done faster, more efficiently. Bucket number two is it helps you generate leads. Now, for those of you that say I'm not a tech person, I'd like you to consider this. Unless you've made the decision to take your clothes down to the stream and beat them clean, you're a tech person. You're using a washing machine, right? You're using a dishwasher, right? How many of you are using a cell phone? The truth is we're all tech people today. You just like to use tech that you understand and know how to use. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be running nothing but AI. You're going to hear first from Lauren Lucas. This is someone who does over 400 transactions a year, who's up 37% in profit margin because of the enhancements that she's made using AI. You're going to hear from Marcus Sheridan. Marcus first built one of the largest identified pool companies in the world on the internet because he understood search engine optimization. Now he's going to tell us about generative engine optimization. And if you don't know what it is, sit back and wait till you hear. Then finally, we're going to talk to Mike Del Prete. Mike is a data nerd. He's a real estate scientist, if you will, and he's done a study about how AI is thought about by your clients. Friends, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to arm you. We're going to arm you to compete in a new world, a world where AI doesn't replace you, but real estate agents who use it just may do more production than real estate agents who don't. Sit back and buckle up. This is a conversation about AI.
Almost overnight, between quarter three, quarter four of 2023, we went from 7 agents to 3. And so I basically took our entire business and I threw it into AI and said, what do I do now? I didn't even know how to prompt when I started this. Everything I learned was self-taught off YouTube. I literally just said, I'm in trouble. I'm about to lose half my team. I need to figure out how to keep up next year. We increased units by 20, volume by 7.07 million, and GCI by over 400,000, even though we had lost more than half of our team.
You know what? I hear it all the time. It's a question as old as time. Jason, I do 650 units a year. I just like to do that and make more money with less people. How do I do it? I'm kidding. I've never heard that. But that is the question that our guest today had to answer, and it became a journey that culminated in using AI to supercharge her business. Friends, ROI went up 32.8%, and 75% of her business is now automated onto AI. Before you tune out, I want to tell you, she had no technological experience. She is not a coder. She is like you and I and jumped in and figured it out. I am talking about none other than Lauren Lucas. Friends, she is going to tell us exactly how to use AI to automate and supercharge our business from lead generation to follow-up all the way to conversion and social media. Sit back and buckle up. This is Lauren Lucas. And I am joined by a friend of mine, Lauren Lucas. Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm well, Jason. How are you?
I gotta tell you, we get all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of outfits. The mint chocolate chip looking shirt, that's the color I'm going with, set against the neon KW home team. You got one of the best backgrounds. Are we in your office or are we in your house?
We're in my home office with all of my wonderful KW awards, or my bold that I've been to 5 times now.
That is so good. All right, I want to start at the beginning. How'd you get into the greatest industry in the world?
So funny story is in 2012, I was 23 years old and tried to buy my first house. And unfortunately for me, I did not realize that I was able to have my own buyer's agent. So I went straight to the listing agent, and it ended up being a short sale, which was not pretty. So needless to say, I didn't get that house. But I was really interested in what happened and why. And so over the course of the next 3 years, as I had a really good job, I was being told to slow down. I was being told I was doing too much. And so I had made the decision that I was going to quit that job and figure out what my next move was.
What was the job?
I worked for the government, state of Ohio.
What did you do?
I worked for the Department of Public Safety. So I did everything from dispatching for the State Highway Patrol all the way through internal auditing and things like that for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. But my shift was from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so I was in 2 hours before majority of the people and would just pop my headphones in and get a lot of work done. And finally, at one of my, I think it was annual or biannually, like check-ins, they just said, slow down. And I'm like, man, if I'm getting paid $16 an hour to be told to slow down, what more could I do with my life?
It's so funny to me because I've gotten to know you fairly well. The only wrong thing, I think you're unoffendable. At least that's been my experience so far. The only thing someone could say to you that would piss you off would be slow down or you can't. They had no idea who they were dealing with.
100%. And so I was like, you know what? I'm meant for more. And I put my 2 weeks notice in and just bartended for about 9 months until I figured out my next role. And as I was finishing up my college degree in criminal justice administration, so I took a very hard left, I found a Craigslist ad of Keller Williams was hiring. And so I looked into back 3 years ago when I was kind of mildly obsessed with what had happened with the first house that I lost, kind of what that entailed. And I got super excited about it and took my classes. I graduated with my degree on January 7th of 2017, and I started real estate the very next day.
Wow. So you get in. This couldn't have been further than the path you were on.
I know.
You get into the business. Do you have success right off the bat?
I did. So fortunately for me, I was one of the youngest in our group who had already purchased a home. So in 2015, I finally did have a successful purchase. I went with a new build. So I had already been through the process as the consumer, and I was the first of my friends who had done so. So I had just educated my group of friends, and they became my first set of clients. So I did. I got Rookie of the Year my first year. I capped the fastest our market center had ever seen, and I did just about $3 million that first 9 months.
Man, so you are off and running. You then start to grow an organization.
Yeah.
Why?
So for me in the beginning, I got very successful very quickly, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was reliant on my productivity coach, DJ, who was absolutely amazing. And I was also fortunate enough that 2 of the veteran agents in our office had kind of taken me under their wing and said, hey, we've got room in our 4 walls. We would love to have you here. I
got to stop you because we got friends listening from every real estate brand on the planet. And by the way, we are in 60 some odd different countries now. So they hear productivity coach and they have no idea what you're talking about. What is a productivity coach?
So the productivity coach is the person on staff in the market center whose job is to ensure that new agents and or agents who just haven't gotten to the level that they want to be at have some extra handholding. They're available to us for extra coaching. They're available to us for extra help on weekends and nights when we're writing offers. And in return, we have a small extra percentage that we pay them to be available to us as a coach.
It's leverage. Like if you don't have somebody who's helping you and on call, whose sole mission in life is to help you get productive, I think that's one of the reasons, Lauren, that you see 72% of real estate people that get a license are out of the business within 24 months. They don't have that human.
And if you ask me, 2017, Lauren, would I have been that successful or where I am today without that productivity coach and those 2 veteran agents who took me in? My answer would be absolutely not.
All right, so you start to build this thing. It catches fire. In 2019, y'all serve 650 families while also flipping some homes, doing some rentals, and finding somehow time to invest and raise an incredible family. But then all of a sudden, you kind of hit the skids a little bit. You end up losing some talent.
Yep. So we ended up 2023. We had 7 agents, myself, my partner, and 5 others on our team. We ended up losing 4 of them. 2 of them went off to be on their own because they had seen success within the team and said, hey, I think I can do this, which is fantastic, but nothing that you want as a team leader, especially going into a down market.
Isn't that the best?
I know.
It's
bittersweet. It really is.
Everybody that's ever owned a team has that story, which is, I met this human. They're now making more money than they've ever made in their life. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's been real. It turns out I'm the magic. You're not the magician. I'm going on my own. And on one hand, you're like, this is the greatest calling in life, to raise people up. On the other hand, you're like, wait a second. Why would you discount me in that equation?
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, as long as they are successful after they leave, like I said, it's bittersweet to see them kind of spread their wings and fly. But back to the two two went solo, one got out of the business altogether, and one was just a part-time agent who we said, hey, let's call a spade a spade. You're not showing up. We're paying for leads, and it's just not working out. So almost overnight, between Q3, Q4 of 2023, we went from 7 agents to 3.
So what happens next?
So what happens next is Lauren panics and kind of started just diving into how can we keep up with the revenue, the units. We, at that time, were about 85% referral based. So we had to keep giving to our clients and being able to, have a bandwidth to service those who were coming to us and referring us, especially. So I really started to dive into how can I take some of this work off of us? And we had already had a transaction coordinator. So from contract to close, we were pretty good, but it was the lead generation, it was the lead follow-up, it was the open houses and things like that we were really struggling with. And so I was super skeptical of AI in the beginning, but the more I tried to break it and see what it could or couldn't do for us, the more impressed I was. And so I basically took our entire business and I threw it into AI and said, what do I do now?
The result of this, by the way, is that you've automated, if I get this wrong, correct me, 75% of your business, and you've had a 32.8% increase to your GCI since you automated through AI. Is that right?
Correct. We increased units by 20, volume by 7.07 million, and GCI by over 400,000, even though we had lost more than half of our team.
This is incredible to me. But if I'm out there and I'm in the real estate multiverse listening to this, I'm like, yeah, but she must have been a computer programmer, or she must have someone in her life that knows how to launch the missiles from their iPhone.
Nope. The person I had in my life was me with a lot of grit and a lot of YouTube hours. That was it. Everything I learned was self-taught off YouTube.
All right, gang, you know what time it is. It's that time. We're going to get into this thing. We're going to unpack the model on how to automate your business with artificial intelligence, Lauren style. Now, you don't have to take the notes. I'm taking the notes. So if you're on the elliptical, and can I just tell you, if you are on the elliptical, can we just admit it doesn't feel natural? That is not how your legs move. That said, if you're on the elliptical, I'm taking the notes. They come out every Thursday. We do them as a PDF attached to an email. If you don't get them, go to MREAnotes.com. That's MREAnotes.com. Lauren, tell me exactly how to automate my business. Step 1, identify business bottlenecks. What does that mean?
So basically what I did is I took all of our systems and processes and I put them into ChatGPT. And
you just lost half the audience. When you say you put them in, what people say like, oh, I just put that into AI. How do you put something in to AI?
For sure. So today you can actually, if you have standard operating procedures, SOPs, you could upload those files directly into ChatGPT. For me at the time, it was me and a microphone talking to ChatGPT exactly what we do step by step.
And what was the prompt? And for those of you that are new to AI, the prompt is the directions that you're giving the large language model, which is all ChatGPT is. So is Gronk. So is Perplexity. They're just large language models. What's the prompt that you gave it before you started inputting all your info?
And that's funny that you ask, because I didn't even know how to prompt when I started this.
Wow.
I literally just said, I'm in trouble. I'm about to lose half my team. I need to figure out how to keep up next year.
By the way, that's a prompt. And unknowingly, what you did is you, number 1, named a persona, which is I'm a real estate agent. Number 2, I own a business. Number 3, I'm about to lose it. So you've told them who you are. You've told AI what's the problem and what's at stake. Now you start inputting all your info and then ask for help. That's it, right?
Absolutely. All you have to do is tell it what you want it to do, what you want it to be, exactly step by step what it is you're looking for, and allow it to continuously ask you questions. That's the unlock. After every single time you tell it your role, your tasks, your step by step, because now I do know how to prompt. The very big unlock is at the end of every single prompt you give it, allow it to ask you clarifying questions. And I have it ask me one by one, because if it asks me question 1 and I respond, it's then analyzing that answer before it asks me question 2. Whereas if I just said, ask me 3 to 5 questions, it would ask me questions and not analyze anything I'm saying.
So after you put in, are you telling it to ask you questions?
Correct.
What are you saying?
Just something along the lines of, if you have any questions, ask me clarifying questions about this. Or there's even sometimes where I'll say, if you're not with 75% certainty, ask me more clarifying questions. That way it's not going to anticipate or predict what it is that I'm looking for. It allows me to tell it, if it doesn't have all the information, what it is that I'm missing.
That's genius. Okay, so after you put in all of your standard operating procedures, what did it say?
Basically, it found holes that I didn't even realize we had. It allowed me to look at the bottlenecks. So that's step 1 in my framework is, identify your bottlenecks. The bottlenecks can be anything from your, what we used to do was a lead comes through, we'd screenshot it and send it off to our agent, right? A lot of things can happen. I could be busy at that time. They could be busy at that time. It may never make it into the CRM. And it's all speed to lead, right? So if we're not responding in a matter of a minute or 2, they're likely just moving on. So it allowed me to kind of see how we could streamline a lot of the systems and operations that we had in place.
Did you think going into it, we got awesome systems? Look, we're serving 650 families a year. We got great systems.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at what you got back?
I was surprised because there was a lot of information that I was just like, wow, I never thought of that. Or, oh, yeah, that does make sense, but you're in it all day long. You're not you're just surviving, right? You're just churning and churning.
Can you think of an example? Can you think of something that it said to you and you were like, oh my gosh?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it was a lot of, like I said, we would screenshot things and send it off to the client. And it's like, well, why don't you just have a system that creates that contact, assigns that agent? And so that's what we have today is the system literally now a lead comes through and it does automatically create the contact in our system and then tag the agent and notify the agent as vice versa. I was the bottleneck.
That must be step 2, plug in AI for heavy lifting.
Correct.
So AI identified these gaps. How did you then take the jump to having it help you fill them?
Yeah, so a lot of it too, and keep in mind, like I'm completely transparent. I was the bottleneck in majority of it. That's hard for a rainmaker to say.
I can just see my AI. Jason, you're the problem.
You're the problem. But no, it was a lot of, understanding where the heavy lifting could be done as far as the lead generation, leads coming to us instead of us door knocking, prospecting, and spinning our wheels over and over when we were barely surviving, keeping up with the clients that we had, right? So it was really it was almost like having your own coach of, hey, you're a real estate agent. Here's how you could be better. And that's when we really started to dive into who is our ideal client? What is their problem? What's keeping them up at night? And positioning ourselves as the solution to that problem, not just another available agent to them when they're ready to purchase.
Yeah, but it sounds way too esoteric for me. You're at 30,000 feet. Come down to 3 feet. How do I actually use it to generate leads?
So with AI itself, the first step you're going to want to do is figure out who your ideal client is if you don't already. And the easiest way to do this is if you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. I had it analyze my own profile to ensure that I was speaking to who I wanted to be speaking to. Because there's a big difference between me producing content that I think my client wants to hear versus me using AI to figure out what those pain points are and actually speaking to one person directly. I want the person on the other side of that scroll to be like, wow, she's talking to me. This message is for me, as opposed to everyone else, right? Because if we're talking to everybody, we're not talking to anybody.
Love that. Love that. Then you have lead follow-up and nurturing. How did you use AI to help you do that?
Yeah, so what we have now is you have to be TCPA compliant and A2P compliant, but there's a very quick 2-day process that you go through. And what happens now is that when a lead comes in, ChatGPT will actually step in, and it's trained as to being our ISA or our open house expert or our AI assistant. Again, you're telling it the role you want it to play. But if Jason comes through as a Facebook lead or an open house lead, ChatGPT will start that conversation with you automatically.
How? By the way, friends, if you're going to do that, make sure you follow every single rule. Everybody always has to know if they're talking to an AI, and they have to explicitly agree to do it. So assuming that that's all done, check with your local attorneys. How do you actually, I know this sounds like a dumb question, but this is what everyone's thinking. I downloaded this ChatGPT app. I got it on my phone. How do I actually get it to talk to other people on my behalf? And what the hell is a bot?
Sure. So I personally built our CRM on the Go High Level platform. So I took Go High Level and I plugged in a lot of different AI sources that we needed, but there's a lot of different options out there. You can create chatbots with, there's CloseBot, there's a lot of different platforms. Just Google, AI powered chatbots. A chatbot basically is a extension of your team that is trained on your brand, your voice, your frequently asked questions, and it just becomes an extension of your team answering the consumer in a much faster pace than a human being could. So if I'm in a closing or at my kid's soccer game and a lead comes through, AI will take that for me. So the way we plug it in is there's a API key for OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, that I integrate into the CRM. And that allows the two platforms to work together. And then the trained AI then picks up the conversation.
And this then carries through to the next, which is Google reviews. How do you use it there?
Sure. So part of our automation now is that we will ask for the Google review. And we'll use it in a way of saying things like Columbus, Ohio, first-time buyer. So the keywords that we want them to use are written in the ask, right? So when Jason were to leave me a review, psychologically, you just saw Columbus, Ohio, first-time buyer. You're going to use words like that. And then the system is trained that as soon as a new review comes through, it's going to read it and analyze it and respond on our behalf. So that chatbot is trained that, hey, a new Google review is coming through. I want you to use our SEO keywords. I want you to respond to them. And then what happens is it drives up our rankings on Google. Google gets more confidence in us because we're engaging with our consumer. We're responding with the same keywords back and forth. And we're both using the same keywords, which allows our SEO to be higher than it would be without.
Have you turned into a tech nerd? Is that what's happening?
I might be. I might be, but that's the thing is I'm a student of life. I'm so excited to learn the new things and stay ahead and keep our business rolling while taking care of the customers is the most important, right? So speed to lead, having them fall through the cracks, having them have answers to exactly what they're looking for right away has been a huge game changer for us to ensure that, one, we have our systems and processes even more dialed in, but then two, there's nothing that's falling through the cracks. Now, of course, some of our clients will still text our phones, and there's times that, you're in soccer games or on airplanes and things like that, sure. But the new clients coming in are the big unlock for us because we're converting at a higher rate when before we were 85% referral based. Now we've opened up a whole new window, a whole new division basically of us creating leads for ourselves.
Do you know how stupid the state of Ohio feels right now listening to you? They're like, we had her. We had her working with us and that we lost it because it's unbelievable. All right, your next one. That. Automate your authority with social media chatbots. What does that mean?
Yeah, so there's ManyChat, ManyChat. That's what we use, which will allow us to create a bot, which again is just basically an answering service on our behalf, to understand when we post to social media, we would say comment the word blank. If we're working with buyers, it might be buyers, sellers, etc. So if I said on my value that I'm giving, right? So I've already analyzed my ideal client. I've started to talk to them on social media, being a solution to their problem. Now I'm creating something of value for them, whether that is your 5 steps to buying your first house, 5 mistakes to avoid on, selling your first house, whatever that may be for my ideal client. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be a Google document, Google Doc. That's it. But anyways, ManyChat will then be the bot who will actually watch the social media. So if Jason does comment buyer on that post. The bot, I completely customized it, but will actually comment back to you and say, check your DMs or whatever it is that I want it to say, while also sending you the link to that Google document. And so what happens now is all I'm doing is posting like I am anyways, putting a trigger word is what it's called that the bot's watching for. And then the bot's doing all of the delivery for me.
Okay, so I'm going to walk through a scenario. Tell me if I get this right. My specialty is first-time home buyers. So I would make a video talking about some sort of MOFR. It's a great time to be a first-time home buyer. By the way, if you want my 5 steps to buying your first home, write the word buyer. They then write buyer. My bot, no matter what time of day it is and what I'm doing in my life, is watching that, sees it, says, oh my gosh, Avengers Unite, activates some other bots, and then you have it set to send a direct message that probably says like, hey, I'm so excited for you. This is an incredible journey. By the way, here's my guide. Email me if you want to hang out, sort of a thing. Is that right?
100%.
The thing that I marvel at is it feels like all this is happening overnight. Like in the old days, 90 days ago, the old days, I would have had to have had a human come in the morning, and that person's first thing would be to search the word #first-time. But 90 days later, the whole world has changed.
Yeah, and ManyChat's been around for a while, but it's evolving so rapidly with the ChatGPTs of the world, the Claudes, the Groks, the Perplexities. Everything's evolving so quickly that I literally did this in a demo the other day. It took us 5 minutes to come up with our ideal client and solving a pain point for them. It took us 7 minutes to create the video and put the words over it and get it posted. It took us about another 7 minutes to actually create the ManyChat. So in under 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you could have lead generation set up for you on autopilot 24/7, collecting leads, providing value, and getting people into your ecosystem. So you're now attracting the people who are already raising their hands saying, I'm ready to buy, I'm ready to sell, I'm ready to invest, instead of door knocking and all the things that none of us really want to do anyways.
Well, there's 3 people out there that love it. Now they're offended. So we're sorry for you people. But the lead generation side that you're talking about now partners so well with now building funnels and converting. How do you think about that?
100%. So we actually have 2 funnels that we run right now. One is specific for our past clients and or other homeowners who feel stuck in that 3% interest rate. So it says right at the top who it's for. If you're a homeowner who feels stuck in your 3% interest rate, this is for you. A quick little embedded YouTube video of how we can help them. A lot of myth busting, limiting beliefs they might have, a ton of reviews on us, but they can self-assess in the comfort of their own home with this funnel. So I've actually built a calculator that says, what's your current information? Your mortgage payoff, estimate what your home is currently worth, your current interest rate, taxes, HOA, etc. And now take an idea. I know you're scrolling Zillow or homes.com or whatever. Take an idea of what your dream home might look like, or at least your upgraded home. Take that purchase price, your new interest rate that might be 7%, taxes, HOAs, etc. But here's the unlock, Jason. I also added in, because I built this calculator with AI. I have no idea how to code. I just told it what I wanted. I can have them also add in their car payments, their student loan payments, healthcare, etc., etc. And what it'll do is say, okay, yes, this is what your current payment is. But if we take all of this equity and pay off these other things to get the bigger, better house, and you might have thought it's $2,500 difference a month, and it's not. It's like $400 or $500.
Okay, you used the B word, build. Everybody tuned out, and they were like, "Well, I can't build it." How do you
don't
build?
have to.
How do you do that?
So literally, go to aistudio.google.com. It's free.
Okay, then what?
On the left-hand side, there's 4 or 5 options. On the left-hand side, there's a little button that looks like a puzzle piece. Click. It's called Build. Now there's a chatbot. And I've done this in real time in market centers, and I do it at a 5th grade level because I pretend like I don't know how to prompt to show how easy it is. Again, you're just talking to it. This is who I am. This is what I want to build. This is what I need. And it will code the entire thing for you in about 5 minutes, giving you your own app, your own calculator, whatever it is you want.
And then once you have that, it comes out with something. What do you do with that thing?
Yeah. So you can either save it to your device, you can share it with your clients, or you can even deploy it to the Google Cloud as an app.
My head is spinning. And you don't seem, I sound like a broken record, but you don't seem overwhelmed or intimidated by this at all. But I know the number one thing that's stopping the greatest real estate audience in the history of broadcasting, which is the People's Podcast, this show, is they're just scared of this.
Yeah.
Because everything you're saying sounds scary. So can you do something incredible right now to get everyone over it?
Absolutely. Just take it step by step. Okay. AI is not here to replace you. It's not here to be daunting. It doesn't have to be that you're a techie person to use it. If you can utilize Google, you can absolutely utilize AI. The difference is if you're using AI like you use Google, meaning you're just asking it repetitive questions over and over, you're not going to get what you want. So you have to tell it who you want it to be. And if you don't know, or you're kind of locked on that, think of it this way. If you were to hire a human being, who would that human being be? Would it be a marketing specialist? Would it be a real estate data analyst? Who would that person be? Then you want to give it the tasks. If you have step-by-step or examples or anything like that, tell it. If you have a certain format that you want, tell it. If you have certain constraints that you don't want it to do, tell it. So just like I would bring in an intern and explain to them, hey, I want you to put this marketing campaign together. I want it to attract this many leads and have, this, and that as part of it. Talk to AI the same way.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
You're running, here's the question. When you didn't have all this, you did 650 units. Do you think that this is the foundation to do even more than that?
For sure. And like I said, for us, we used to do 85% referral base. So this just unlocked an entire new source of leads for us. It unlocked automating our open house leads that come through. Back in the day, paper and pen, shove it in your book bag, maybe get to it Monday morning. Now it's creating the contact and having full-blown conversations with these people as they're walking through the house.
I think we have to talk about the phrase book bag. No one has said that in 20 years.
I'm from Ohio. It's still a book bag.
Do you call it pop or soda?
It depends. We typically pop.
Yeah, okay, now I'm completely clear where book bag came from. You probably have a chest of drawers and an ice cabinet as well. So I think that you're onto something. You're my hero, if I'm completely honest. Gang, I'm going to just admit it. I'm a fan of yours from afar, and I've watched what you're doing. And here's what I think part of your genius is. You just started. You had no idea, but you've managed to figure it out so quickly. And I can't tell whether that's, and I know it's because you're exceptional, but I also think that AI wants us to learn quickly.
For sure. And that's the thing is, one, I'm highly ADHD. So when I hyperfixate, that's definitely helpful because I got obsessed with it. Two, if you are stuck with what AI can do for you, just ask AI. Nowhere in any other relationship or conversation you're ever going to have can you be like, hey, Jason, can you help me help you help me? But
that's
AI
so good.
will.
Because the challenge is in real relationships when you're like, hey, what do you want me to do? They're like, I just want you to know what I want me to do and you to do and us to do. You should just know. But AI will actually tell you.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, if it's too daunting to get it out of your brain and onto a keyboard, literally just turn on dictate. I can't tell you how many times I've sit back right here in this office, kicked my feet up and just started having a conversation with it. Just talk. Hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I need. And it will have a full-blown conversation with you. And it will help you start to organize your thoughts, come up with your action plan, your game plan, and make sure that it's in a digestible way for you to bite off a piece of the elephant, not the whole elephant at the same time.
Genius. Lauren, last question for me. You are raising a young man. Is that correct?
2 of them.
2 young men. How old?
10 and 8.
10 and 8. I know for a fact that the schools they're in are not talking about AI the same way that you're talking about AI. Are you doing anything to bring them along on this journey with you?
Yes. So we pull in little, we have 2 little, like benches and they'll sit right here and they'll just watch. My 10-year-old, we actually built his own game over the summer. So he likes Minecraft and Roblox and all this stuff. And I was like, hey buddy, let's build it. What do you want to name it? What do you want your treasure chests to look like? What weapons do you want? I don't know if we can use that on this, but he built his entire game and he got to pick every single thing that it does. And AI coded all of it. I have no idea how to code.
I don't want to brag, but in survival, I did beat the Ender Dragon. And if you know, you know, friends. And if you don't know, you don't know. I'll leave it at that.
I don't know, but I support you.
He'll know. Lauren, you're an inspiration to me. I think what you're doing is incredible. Thank you for pouring into real estate agents everywhere. As I understand it, you have taken to the road and you are teaching and you are evangelizing around real estate agents and AI. If the people want more of you, how can they find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's at Lauren, Lauren, Lucas, Lucas, _RE for real estate.
There it is. Lauren, thanks again.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's rare that I'm speechless, that I just throw all my notes over my shoulder. Friends, the world is changing, and it's changing at a rate that I don't think has ever been seen before. I just finished this book called The Coming Wave, which lays out the possibilities that AI represents. But I'm not talking about something that's 50 years in the future. I'm talking about the future is right now. And I get it. It's a little bit icky and it's a little bit scary. And when things are moving this quickly, it feels like the earth is moving under your feet and you just want to say, I'm not getting involved. I'm going to keep using my Android and not use AI. Just the way that I have been. It's a mistake, gang. You know, there's a bunch of myths around AI. I just wrote an AI playbook that we gave out at Keller Williams, and the myth that stood out to me was the one that Gary Keller called and told me I forgot to put in. The myth, I have time. No, you don't. No, you don't. Your clients are already there. They're already using it. The truth is, friends, they expect you to be there too. I don't believe that AI is going to replace the real estate agent. As a matter of fact, the graveyards are filled with tech companies over the last 50 years that thought their thing was going to usher in the end of the real estate agent. They've all been wrong. I don't think this is going to do that either. AI is not coming for your job, but it is coming for your busy work. You see, at the end of the day, AI won't replace the real estate agent, but I believe that people and agents that embrace AI will outperform those who don't. What's Lauren Lucas doing differently than you? Probably not very much, other than the fact she's willing to let go. Jump into AI and simply talk to it. You see, that's the thing. People think it's complicated. Friends, it isn't. Type on it or talk to it. Tell it who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Give it things to look at. Ask it questions. Maybe start with a simple one. I'm a real estate agent. How can you improve my business? Could it be that simple? Let me ask you this. Could it be any more complicated? What do I mean by that? You've made it complicated in your head, just like everybody else. I want you to think back to 1999 and 2000. Do you know how many people made a fortune when the internet came online? Was it you? Because you lived through it, right? Did you manage to seize the moment and become an internet entrepreneur, one of the masters of the universe? Me neither. But guess what? There's a bumper sticker that I saw the other day as I was driving down the road in Austin, Texas, and it said, "Lord, give me one more good recession. I promise not to waste it." Friends, give me one more incredible tech innovation that's going to change the world just like the internet did in 1999. I promise not to waste it. You're there right now. Jump in. The water's fine. Go forth and do likewise.